What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Dose Media Network YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Joey, and what I will be doing in this video for you guys is going over my favorite cash game plays for week 5 on NFL Draftkings. If you're new to this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We drop videos every single week. We also live stream every single Saturday. This Saturday live stream will be at 12 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, so noon for all the Eastern Standard Time people. If you're on the West Coast, it'll be a little bit earlier, 9 a.m. But nonetheless, we will be streaming at 12 o'clock Eastern instead of 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So make sure you tune into that, and you can also catch the replay if you can't tune in. But nonetheless, let's talk about my favorite cash game plays for week 5 on NFL DraftKings. All right, so taking a quick look at the quarterback position, I think it's a relatively condensed cash game quarterback pool this week. I think the player that stands out to me at the top is definitely Josh Allen. I don't want to spend too much time talking about how good Josh Allen is. You could just see it on the screen right here: 33, 32, 30, 24 and a half last week against Baltimore in some bad weather conditions. And Josh Allen at 8,200 is just going to project as the best quarterback each and every single week as long as he's on the main slate. And this is a game where the Bills have the highest implied team total on the slate with 30 points. They're 14-point favorites. Every single touchdown goes through Josh Allen, and his expectation on a weekly basis is pretty much 30 DraftKings points. And this is a week specifically where the construction, in my opinion, is going to be a heavily mid-range construction with a lot of value at the running back position. There are some mid-range wide receivers that are projecting very well right now. So I think you can easily afford to get up to Josh Allen this week. And at 8,200, he's just going to project the best out of any quarterback. Like I said, not much needs to be said about Josh Allen. I think that there's only one other quarterback in play for cash this week. So this was a week where, in my opinion, if you're not playing Josh Allen or Tom Brady, it's probably bad process. Tom Brady, 6K at home against a porous Falcons defense. We saw him come out, throw the ball 52 times against the Chiefs. Obviously, that was more so a product of game script than anything else. But with a full complement of weapons, with Chris Godwin back, with Julio Jones healthy, Leonard Fournette there, Mike Evans back, I think the Bucks are a team that wants to throw the ball at a very high rate, and we saw that last week against the Chiefs. And like I said, that's probably because of game script. But I think moving forward, we could see the Bucks increase their pass rate over expectation. They're already top 10 in the NFL in that category. And as these players start to get healthier as the season starts to go on, I think we could see the ball just being put into Tom Brady's hands, who can still play at a very high level in the NFL, even at 44, 45 years old. And I mean, goddamn, this man chose football over his family. He's all in. He's ready to go out there and prove that he made the right decision in abandoning his wife and kids. So Tom Brady at 6K just looks very, very solid right now. He's projecting as one of the best values out of any position this week. And I would not mind going to Tom Brady in cash for 2,200 less than Josh Allen. Obviously, the ceiling is extremely lower, but I think the floor is pretty high with Tom Brady, and it's a good spot at home against the Falcons. Moving on to the running back position, I think this week we have a ton of running back players available to us to play in cash. I think if you're not playing Tom Brady, you could definitely prioritize getting to Leonard Fournette at 6,900 this week. It should be a positive game script, as 8.5-point favorites as it stands right now at home against the Falcons. I think Leonard Fournette is a lock for 15 to 20 touches, and we obviously know he plays very well in the receiving game. And it's just a good spot for Uncle Lenny. I think I would prefer to get down to some of the cheaper running backs on this slate. I definitely love Dameon Pierce at 6,200. I think he is a fine play. I definitely love Khalil Herbert if David Montgomery is out once again. I don't mind the Patriots running backs and Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. I think both are relatively cheap and should both see 15 plus touches in this matchup against the 31st ranked Detroit Lions rush defense. And especially if Mac Jones is out, the Patriots are just going to have a very run centric game plan. But I think the player that the field is gravitating towards as it stands right now is Jeff Wilson at 5,500. Jeff Wilson has just been a volume monster over the last 3 weeks after Elijah Mitchell and Tyrion Davis Price left with injuries and haven't seen the field since. And no other running back on the 49ers has seen a touch in their absence. So this backfield is solely Jeff Wilson's. I think the ceiling is pretty low with Jeff Wilson, but I think he's going to project the best. And I think from an opportunity standpoint, he's going to project the best as well. And this is a game where the Niners are 6.5 point favorites in Carolina. They should be able to win this game relatively easy. I don't think he's that great of a play. I might not play him in cash, to be honest, but he's definitely the standout play from DraftKings community sense that everybody is going to play Jeff Wilson. I think he is going to be one of the highest owned running backs on the slate, but I think this is a slate where you can go numerous ways. You can go Leonard Fournette or Alvin Kamara at 69 and 6,600. They're both projecting relatively well. I think you can go Dameon Pierce at 6,200 in a good spot against Jacksonville. I think you can go Khalil Herbert if David Montgomery is out once again. I think you can go Ramondre or Damian Harris or Jeff Wilson at the low end. Even Breece Hall at 5,400 looks pretty solid to me as it stands right now. He's finally getting the majority of the running back touches in this Jets backfield. His pass game role is pretty much elite, as you can see right here. 27 targets through 4 games, pretty much averaging 7 targets a game. You love to see it out of a rookie running back in Breece Hall. So I don't mind Breece Hall, but this is a big running back pool for sure this week, and I think you should be considering those guys that I mentioned in cash games at the running back position. If you want to hear more concrete thoughts about the running back position, make sure you tune in to the Saturday night live stream or the replay of it, where we will go in depth about each and every single player on the main slate. Moving on to the wide receiver position. Wide receiver, I think, is very open this week as well. This is a very open week, is how I would describe it. Unlike week 4, where I think it was a relatively tight week and the player pool was pretty condensed at each and every single position. I think at the wide receiver position, you can go numerous ways. I think at the top, Cooper Kupp definitely stands out. And, this is a week where you can fit Cooper Kupp even at 9,600. He has 46 catches as it stands right now on the year. He's by far and away the wide receiver one overall. And, this year's Cooper Kupp, who would have guessed, is Cooper Kupp. So a player with an expectation of 25 plus DraftKings points, even at 9,600, I think is in play for cash. I definitely kind of want to prioritize getting up to Cup personally, but I don't think it's necessary by any stretch. You have Stephon Diggs at 8,400, who is going to project relatively okay in this spot against Pittsburgh. Obviously, game script could definitely be the concern with that. As I said, with Josh Allen, they are 14-point favorites, and the blowout could just throw a wrinkle in things. But I think the popular guy, or one of the popular guys at the top, is going to be Deebo Samuel. And just from an efficiency standpoint, we know Deebo Samuel is one of the most efficient players in the NFL, but that was to be expected. With Deebo Samuel coming into the season, he had outlier efficiency in terms of his rushing touchdowns last year, and those are coming down, and we're kind of seeing his box score as a result of the regression in efficiency. But nonetheless, at 7,700, I think he's still one of the better plays on the slate. I don't think he's a cash game lock, but he will be pretty chalky this week. So if you want to eat the chalk, you're playing Deebo Samuel at the top, but I definitely prefer getting up to Cooper Kupp even for $1,900 more. I think his expectation is just way better. I think the game environment is better, and Cooper Kupp, I just want to jam in cup. No cup, no cash is the motto. Uh, I think the mid range is where we definitely have to navigate. And like I said, tune into the Saturday night live stream for more concrete thoughts and opinions. 12 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Um, you have Brandon Cooks, 6,100, Chris Godwin, 5,900, Chris Olave, 5,700, Tyler Lockett, 5,600. All of these guys in this range right here are going to project very, very well. All of them are, top 15 in the NFL in terms of target share, and I don't think you can go wrong with playing any of these guys. It's really up to you to who you prefer. I'm just here to tell you you should be playing two or three of these players in Cooks, Godwin, Chris Olave, and Tyler Lockett. Now, if I have to sit here and tell you which guy I think is the best, I think, in my opinion, it's probably Brandon Cooks at 6,100. I think that this is just a nice eruption spot for Brandon Cooks, and he has torched the Jaguars in his past games against them. And I think that we could see some regression in terms of his catch rate increasing, which obviously we kind of saw last week, 7 catches on 7 targets. And I think a spike Brandon week, I think a spike week is definitely in the range for Brandon Cooks in this spot. I want to bet on Chris Godwin because kind of the same thing with Cooks is Godwin routinely torches the Falcons. Like, I feel sorry for you if you're a Falcons fan. Godwin, I feel like every time I watch him against Atlanta, he just absolutely snaps. And, it's so good to see him come back in week 4 off his hamstring injury and get 10 targets, 7 catches, 59 yards. Kind of left that game hobbled, as you could see here. He was on the injury report with a knee, limited practice, but he should be good to go. And this is just a spot where you probably want to bet on the Bucks skill position players. And at 5,900, if Chris Godwin gets 8 to 10 targets in this game, he is going to absolutely smash. So I definitely think Cooks and Godwin are a little bit of a tier above Chris Olave and Tyler Lockett. But nonetheless, I love Chris Olave. I love Tyler Lockett this week. And if we're looking at the mid range, I think Jacoby Myers is the standout cash game play. Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see if he is active for this game, but it's just a great spot going up against Detroit, who is ranked 32nd in points allowed, and they just get torched by everybody as we've seen this year. And their games just set up as fantasy gold mines with one of the best offenses in the NFL and one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And Jacoby Myers' target expectation, especially with Mac Jones back, should be relatively high. So I definitely do not mind Jacoby Myers at 4,800 as a pay down option. And a lot of the value is going to be dependent on how these injuries shake up. As you can see on the screen, a bunch of questionable guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how this range shakes up just in terms of what guys play and what guys don't. And that's going to, I think, impact the slate quite a bit. So you should definitely be paying attention to late news this week. Moving on to the tight end position. Tight end, terrible week. I think if you're not paying down, you're probably not playing it correctly. I think I'm just going to roll Irv Smith in cash at 3,200. I think that obviously he doesn't have the same upside as some of the guys at the top of the pool, like Hawkinson, Kittle, even Tyler Higbee this year. But I just want to spend as least amount of money as possible at the tight end position every single week. And Irv Smith fits in that criteria of a talented tight end who should see 4 to 6 targets on a weekly basis. And if he scores a touchdown, he's getting you there. And even with 5 or 6 points, you're not killed, especially in cash. So I prefer Irv Smith at the bottom. I think you can go to Hunter Henry at 2,900 if Jonnu Smith is out, and it's looking like he will be out for this game. At the top of the pool, I mentioned Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee should be one of the more popular tight ends this week at 4,300. Tyler Higbee has just seen an insane role in his first 4 weeks. As you can see here, 3 games with 9+ targets out of Tyler Higbee, and he's the second option in this passing attack over Allen Robinson. So at 4,300, if we can expect 8 to 10 targets out of Tyler Higbee, he's a smash play. I don't necessarily love trying to fit Tyler Higbee in, but he's projecting as one of the best values on the board this week, and he should be chalk. And maybe my thoughts change on this, and I do prioritize getting Higby in. Um, but yeah, I think he probably is the best tight end play on the slate. So if you want to play him over Irv Smith, it's probably a good move, a solid move. I just don't know if I'm going to do it because I just do not care about the tight end position on DraftKings, especially in cash. But Tyler Higbee is the standout play. He is the best play at the tight end position on the slate. But that is going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton. Leave a like on the video as well and comment down below your thoughts on who you think is going to be the chalk this week for cash. Let me know if any of these players aren't in your cash pool, and I will see you guys next week.